This podcast is sponsored by BB Makes, a family-run personalised gift company. From sports bottles to team merchandise, BB Makes has you covered. They will happily work with you to create unique designs for your perfect gift, with a wide range of products, all able to be personalised with names, quotes, pictures and much more. Head over to bbmakes.com. That's www.bebemakes.com and use the code COIS so they know that we sent you. Oh, and of course, come on you Spurs.
Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam, returning once more. Joining me to discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur in the preview of the Europa League final, it's Stefan.
Hey buddy, good to have you back.
Yes, good to be back. Good to be heard and all that fun stuff. Hey, I've been listening. Thank you for standing in, man. It's been helpful.
No, all good.
Mostly, I mean, not going to go into detail, but I've not been well. It's sort of an ongoing thing, but on occasion I feel okay. So on occasion I'm like, oh yeah, we'll record, we'll be good. So you've had to kind of step up at the last minute, which is why it's been you solo, because it's been like literally in the minute I've gone, yeah, I can't. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I'm doing it. No, not today.
Yeah, basically. So that's why we've had a couple of shows which have been been that way. But anyway, this is the preview show for the Europa League final. I'm still blown away we're there. 17th, who gives a fuck, we're going to Bilbao.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I just, how do you feel about it? Because I am in this weird kind of utter terror, because I know all of the ramifications if we don't win it. You know, forgetting the trophy, just the financial ramifications. So I'm in utter terror over that. But then I've got this really weird, and it is weird, confidence that I actually think we're going to win it. Yeah. Which is unusual for me and Tottenham.
I am absolutely buzzing, full of optimism. For a very simple reason.
Okay.
Newcastle won the Carabao Cup, their first trophy in 50 odd years. Crystal Palace have just won the FA Cup, their first ever trophy. Tottenham are in the Europa League final, and it's been 17 years since we last won one, and 41 years since our last European trophy.
Correct. And
PSG are in the Champions League final, having never won that trophy either. And I'm just like, this is the year. This is the year of the underdog, the year of the firsts. And it'd be, it's written in the stars, isn't it?
See, that kills me, right? And this is ridiculous, okay? Because there is nothing more Spursy than to be the exact opposite than all of that. Like, we've beaten Man United 3 times this season.
Yeah.
Nothing more Spursy to then lose to them in a final.
In the one that matters, yep.
Teams that have not won a competition in a long time are winning stuff. It is nothing more Spursy than to be the one team that doesn't. Newcastle, Blackbirds, Crystal Palace, Eagle, us, a cockerel, the whole bird motif. Nah, fuck that, we'll just lose. So, I
Mate, I hadn't even gone down that. The Magpies, the Eagles, I hadn't even gone down that one.
All of these... See, you're like buzzing and you see all that as positives. I've been a Tottenham fan so long, I see that as, screw it. We're balls in this right up.
Nothing has ever convinced me more that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, see, it's funny because I genuinely started the podcast by saying, I'm terrified of that, but I feel confident. You've just laid that out, which is perfectly rational, what you've said. And now I feel convinced we're going to lose. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely insane. This is where my emotions are. It's like all over the place.
I feel like this is just being a Tottenham Hotspur fan, though. Like, I think that is what it does to you.
What, this kind of bipolarism. Which
Yeah,
is, yeah.
like I have. I mean, you know, my nickname in the group chat is Flip Flop because I will flip and flop very quickly between what I think is about to happen.
Sometimes within a few seconds, by the way. Like, I've seen you, like, berate a player and then compliment him within a few seconds.
Udogi in the last game. How is he starting over Spence? That was a fantastic tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. I am known for this. It's fine. I have embraced it. If anything, I have now embraced it.
I've embraced the mentalness, yeah.
Which I'm sure is going to happen between now and 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Multiple times. Like, at the moment, I am so just like, if I wasn't starting a new job the day before the final, I would be finding a way to get there. Maybe not even having a ticket for the match, just to be there so I can say I was in Bilbao when we won the cup.
Wow.
You know? And I guarantee you ask me in an hour or two's time, and I'll be convinced that, but without Decky, without Maddison, without Bergvall, without, you know, these players, we've got no chance. We've got no creativity. Nothing. Yeah, I will very much flip between the two, but there is a weird kind of calmness about the positivity I have.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying, to be honest. As a Spurs fan, that is terrifying. I'm used to the chaos this season, and it's been one of those seasons that's been, I would like to say, an up and down season, but I feel like it's mostly been a down season.
Yeah.
With a few little speed bumps of, no, don't worry. The Europa League campaign has been the highlight, very much of it. And there's just something about it that I'm like, I think we can actually win.
Yeah.
Remember, okay, I know I talk about it a lot. Remember the Ajax game where Lucas Moura got his 3 goals and we got to the final? I had the same sense there that I was just... Even at half-time, I remember me and you messaging each other, and at half-time you're like, it's over, we're done. And I was there, no, we're going to win this, we're going to win. And I've got that same weird optimism.
I knew you were going to bring that up. That's like your go-to thing. How many times have you been wrong, though? Oh, we're going to win this, it's going to be easy. Oh my God, Tamworth are nearly beating us.
I must be honest with you, I don't particularly count the...
weird that. Yeah.
I'm sure my wife does, but I don't count them myself.
Yeah, no, well, wives have a habit of counting all things we get wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got a few things to talk about in the show. We want to kind of preview the final, and I want to kind of end the show, if you like, and kind of push it into that positive mindset. So that means I want to try and get the kind of potential negative or the kind of nitty-gritty things that are on my mind out of the way first. So we're going to hand over to our fellow Tottenham fans for their comments and questions first. One of them I just read actually leads into what I want to talk about, which is like I've designed it. That's brilliant. Nice. So we're going to do that now.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
You know what? That was a complete lottery for me when I played that, because I genuinely haven't recorded for so long. I forgot what button does what.
It might be this one. It might.
Yeah, I was genuinely thinking to myself, if I've got this wrong, I'll just have to go in and edit it and find whichever one it is. But yeah, I did total fear as I was pressing that button.
Part of me would have loved that.
Well, it would have been funny, but if I'm right, this should be the we don't talk about Nuno thing. Yeah. We don't talk about Nuno, no. I'll play that in a while, so there we go. Okay, first question is from Mark Ivy, and Mark says, will I ever get my sanity back after watching our team this season? Mark, no. No, you will not. You will never be the same again. You have been transformed. You will now go into every football match expecting defeat. It takes about 4 years, in my experience. See, we have now equalled our worst ever season of 25 defeats in all competitions. That was 1991, 1992. That was me. That was me as a kid. I remember that so well. like as an adult football fan, you kind of got, you know, your life, your kids, your job, everything going on. When you're a kid and you're a football fan, it is your life. Like, I could name every player in the Premier League, you know, I knew everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, or the First Division it was then. Anyway, yeah, so I felt that, and I got a lot of stick at school. I remember it well, and it does take a long time to kind of shake that off, but it's funny because we kind of had the reverse of it when we had Pochettino in charge, which was that he managed to get us to a point where we felt like every game we were going to win. And if we lost, it was like, what the hell happened? We don't lose? It was a genuine shock. And it's taken 5 years for that to kind of go to where it is now, which is, yay, we're playing a Premier League game. Whoop-de-doo. How many goals are we going to concede today? And that's kind of, you know, kind of where it's at.
Oh, I wish it wasn't true.
Oh, but it's so true. And so, Mark, I can tell you with a degree of certainty and experience, it takes a good few years to shake this off. But, you know, YOLO, have fun. Have fun with it. Embrace it. Gallows humour helped me a lot. Like, just embracing how bad things are.
I
like
genuinely believe that Spurs fans and Gallows humour were one and the same.
Yeah, I do think if you look up gallows humour in, like, any sort of dictionary or anything of, like, oh, please define this, there is a picture of a Spurs fan that 4-0 down against Stoke at half-time singing, we're shit and we know we are. That was a good day.
Let's
anyway.
pretend we've scored a goal.
Yeah, done that, yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrated a corner like a manic bastard at Bolton once when we were 3-0 down. That was fun. Anyway. Right, so Chris, well done. Chris, I know me and you have discussed how to say your surname before, but I constantly cock it up. And so now I've just got to this point where I'm going to be like, oh, it's a message from Chris. Hey, Chris.
It's Chris. Hey, Chris.
It's VDLY. One of those has got to be silent, right? Because I can't pronounce Vidil. Villy. Chris.
Yeah.
Vidilli.
Hi, Chris.
So Chris,
Yep.
Chris says, after winning the cup, sorry, I got that wrong. He says, will winning the Europa League lead Levy into thinking he is doing good, preventing any remote chance of him changing his ways?
Wow, way to ruin the final.
No. See, this is a great one because I think Daniel Levy, his metric is around longevity of the club, the financials and all that kind of things. I think he's proven that time and time again. So I don't think a trophy actually would alter or, you know, improve or disprove, you know, make it worse, if that makes sense. I think him looking at the league table is him thinking, maybe something's gone wrong. It must be everyone else. I think it's his genuine emotion. You ever seen that Simpsons thing with Principal Skinner? No. Am I wrong? No, it's all of the children who are wrong.
That's it. That bloke's own theme song is ABBA, Money, Money, Money. Like, there's no way he's going to look at this season and go, oh, I've messed up here. Oh, wait a minute. How many people can I blame? Right, we're going to sack you, and sack you.
Yeah.
Definitely their fault, not mine.
It is intriguing, though, and I'll tell you what's intriguing about this season in Levy is we all know that guy fires people as scapegoats left, right and centre. He really does. Like, we've seen managers come and go, directors of football come and go, scouts. I mean, this season, medical department, which is a whole other discussion. But what we've seen this season is kind of strange because our league form is relegation worthy. It's atrocious. If it wasn't for those three teams being so utter shite, we would be in deep shit. Us in Man United would have been like the craziest relegation story in history. But especially if we both still got to the Europa League final. But what is
Championship and Champions League?
Yes, that would be so us. But what is insane to me is at no point has he actually looked to fire him. Like, Ange Postecoglou has had this whole season, a whole second season, and the league form has been so bad. Performances have consistently been so erratic and batshit. But he's not. And I think the key reason for this is something that has never happened before. The players haven't stopped backing him. And I think that actually put him in a really bad position, because normally he'd have had like a group of players come to him like, Mr. Levy, sir, yeah, this coach is a wanker. He's asking us to do this, and this, and we haven't won a game in like 3 months. And when we said maybe we should change it, he laughed and said, "That's not what we are, mate. Can we get rid of him, please?" We know through accounts, through various books and journalists with good insight, that basically every manager at Spurs for the last however long is gone because of a group of players have started to voice, this has gone stale, this isn't good. Even Pochettino, there was a senior group of players who felt things had gone stale. And
I will never forgive those people.
Well, as long as they're having fun in Germany winning their trophy. So it is interesting to me where he is now, Daniel Levy, because it's like he made the decision. It's almost like in his brain he was like, "Oh, as long as we're still in the Europa League, do you know what I mean?" It's almost like he thought, "Well, as long as we're still in that, I think the league form will turn around, because when the players come back from injury and stuff."
Yep.
And then the longer it's gone, it's like, well, we are still in the Europa League. I can't really fire him. And it's almost like he's been waiting every game in the Europa League, like, got my firing shirt on, got my kicking ass boots. Oh, fuck, we won. Oh, all right. And it's like, we ain't. Yeah. It's like, well, we ain't gonna beat Frankfurt, are we? There's no way we're getting past them because we are shite. Okay, got my firing boots on, gonna kick his Australian ass to the. Oh shit, we're through. Oh, well, we're Tottenham. We're going to go to Norway and lose. No way we won't lose to this Norwegian team and embarrass ourselves. Oh, fuck, we won. We're in the final. Oh, well, he better keep his job then.
Yeah, he better win this final, because otherwise I'm putting those boots back on.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's fired anyway. This is the weird thing. I think Ange knows. I think the whole squad knows. He's gone. There's no way you can finish 7th. Even winning the Europa League, there's no way you can finish 17th in the league at Tottenham and keep your job. There just isn't. There's just no way.
Like, it shouldn't even when we win the cup. Like,
we win.
It shouldn't be all right. But then it's so difficult because he won a trophy. Like, the way Spurs is, he should have a freaking statue.
Or
at least a kangaroo statue.
Who was the last manager? Whoa, racism much? Jesus. Easy there, Tiger. Good day, mate.
Good day, mate.
Who was the last manager to win a trophy for us?
Juan de Ramos.
Does he have a statue? Or is he remembered as an utter cunt?
I believe it is the latter of the two.
So it doesn't really matter. Just like,
that wasn't a European trophy.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, that makes the difference.
Playing Ange ball, mate.
Anyway, I absolutely will always like Ange Postecoglou. It has not worked this season. I think there is stuff that has happened behind the scenes at the club which has been a disaster for morale. I think a disaster for the players' fitness and health.
Oh,
but whatever that is, clearly isn't his fault, because you don't have a squad of players openly backing the guy for the whole season when the results are this bad. You just don't. It just never happens. And the fact you've had a few of them come out almost saying to Daniel, by the way, if you fire him, I'm gone. Like, don't you dare blame him. It's like none of them have come out and gone, well, behind the scenes we got this doctor who was injecting us with this stuff and we all went downhill. It's like no one's come out and said anything like that.
Which we'd all look at and go, nah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Well, our new head surgeon, Dr. Shipman. But just honestly look at this and you look at. Sorry, but probably in bad taste. All the senior players in the squad terrified. So, I'm back. Hello. I'll be cancelled. I won't be back again.
Missed you, buddy.
But anyway, so to answer Chris's question, I don't think it changes him. I think winning it simply means he goes, oh, good, the fans had something to cheer about. They're not calling me out today. Hopefully it means we can... his brain works different to us as fans. And I'll tell you where his head's at. His head right now is our last home game is against Brighton. And at the end of that, we have to do a lap of appreciation. And that stadium is going to be toxic or empty, one or the other, or, you know, a combination of both. And I'm going to have to face that down. Maybe I shouldn't even go. But even though we finished 17th in the league, if we win the Europa League, we can parade that trophy around during the lap of appreciation. And all of a sudden, everyone's happy. No one's protesting. Everyone's having a great time. They're looking at the trophy like, oh, pretty shiny thing. He doesn't really care about the sporting success. He's just like, that'll bail me out. Then I can change everything in the summer and next season will be better. That's his brain. That's where his head's at.
I mean, I've got to touch on that whole lap of appreciation, depreciation, guilt trip, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Man, that is going to be wild. Like, one way or the other, that is going to be wild.
It's going to be wild, yeah.
If we do win, it's going to be an absolute wild carnival. Oh my God, look at us, we have a European trophy.
Yeah.
Let's play the Robbie Williams and all that stuff. Let's get it all out there.
Yeah.
If we don't win, and then it's going to be a case of, this season was crap.
Yeah.
If we don't win that game and then don't beat Brighton...
Well, look, it's a Premier League game. We're not beating Brighton.
But can you imagine, we lose both? Holy crap, that is going to be some wild scenes.
I mean, if we lose... we lose another game, we set a new record for our worst ever season. So, we lose both and we're really setting that record. But,
and then, oh my God, at what point do the club turn around and go, we have decided upon the season that we've had that actually we're just not going to do it?
I don't think they can. Honestly...
The fans are just going to... We're just going to give you a quick clap as we walk down the tunnel really quickly, avoiding the bottles being thrown at us. And...
No, I don't know.
I think... Oh, man.
Yeah, so there you go. That's fun to think about.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be wild.
You know, you had all those things at the start of the podcast about why you think because of these things we're definitely going to win a trophy.
Yes.
Do you know the really obvious one you haven't said?
Go on.
Ange Postecoglou has always won a trophy in his second season.
Jose Mourinho had won a trophy at every club he had managed.
Yes, I know. So you see where my problem is with all of these things. We break these things. We are breakers of fun records and good times. We are a social experiment to see how much a person can be pushed before they just snap. Anyway, the final comment is from Peter Robinson, who Facebook has marked as a top fan.
Woo!
Yeah, well done, Pete. Okay, he says, if Spurs win the Europa League and make it to the Champions League next year...
When?
What is the point if they're just going to make up the numbers? Is the manager going to be given the players to compete on all fronts, which has been near impossible this season due to injuries and the lesser experienced players that were signed last summer? Maybe they should keep Ange and get rid and massively change the medical staff to give the manager a realistic chance of competing. Not all Ange's fault. He can only work with what he's been given, and the number of injuries they've suffered this season is crazy. I really, really hope the mighty Spurs win the final and shove it down all the throats of all the doubters and take the monkey off our backs. If Palace and Newcastle can win silverware this year, then so can the mighty Spurs. Pete, you've fallen into Steph's trap right there.
Yeah, it's the year of the underdog.
So there's a few things in that. The first thing we're going to talk about is is it Ange, the player injuries, etc. Where's our head at on that? And then I'm going to come back to the Champions League thing, because that really leads into a bigger discussion, which I don't think everyone's really contemplated yet. So the injuries have been insane. All clubs suffer injuries. A lot of clubs this season. I think VAR is killing players' muscles. I think
the pausing and waiting. Gosh.
Well, someone did a thing on Twitter yesterday. I think it was Paul O'Keefe, who basically said the average added time now due to VAR is the equivalent of 3 extra matches a season. And although that's kind of standing around then, but it's the stop, start. That is a lot of extra minutes been added, which is, don't get me wrong, we want, I always feel that added time needs to be correct. Like, if a team is time wasting like a bastard, then they deserve to be punished for that.
Oh, definitely. I had a lazy day yesterday, and I managed to watch 3 different matches, most of 3 different matches yesterday. Yeah, the Everton's final game at Goodison Park.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of decent stoppages in that. And then I watched the West Ham Nottingham Forest game, and there was a 6.5 minute delay checking for this offside goal. Now, if you have to wait 6.5 minutes,
it's a fucking goal.
Then it's a goal, surely. Yeah. Like, it's not clear and obvious. Well, anything more than one replay game, well, you got that wrong.
What happened to the semi-automated offside system?
It broke.
Really?
I genuinely think someone said about it. I'm pretty sure it actually broke. And then what made it even funnier was that the communication system between VAR and the ref broke.
Oh, they're
so it was just like, oh my God, it's awful.
It is awful. It really is. And the more... I was always an advent for technology, because like the Pedro Mendes goal, for example, like I always work on the theory that shit like that shouldn't happen. Like, when you've got all those cameras and a 4th official stood there, like, shit like that shouldn't happen. But the more VAR I see, the more I just think, nah, I don't see how it's benefiting the game. I kind of agree with Ange on that.
Yep.
So this season,
been a fan of it ever, but yeah.
So this season, something, like I said a minute ago, something's wrong behind the scenes with the medical department. I can think of the top of my head 4 players who have openly criticised the medical department. I've never seen that in my life. No. Players criticising the physios, the doctors. I can think of at least 2 senior players who have gone to their own medical team initially, and then we've seen in recent weeks another senior player elect to have an operation after seeking outside consultation, and two academy players taking advice from senior players to ignore the club and go and get another opinion.
Now that's crazy, isn't it? When you have senior players turning round to the youngsters going, oh, he said impact injury, I'd go get that checked if I was you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you've broken 3 bones.
But it's insane. It's
madness.
And it's funny that Ange is getting a lot of flack over this. It's become like a running meme. If Ange says, oh, I think he's alright, it's just a bit of a knock, or we'll assess it tomorrow, everyone's like, oh, R.I.P., that guy's never coming back.
He's having surgery. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just... when Ange walks from the pitch or wherever, the dressing room, to the press conference, the physio or someone will be like, oh, this is, you're going to get asked this. This is where we're at. He isn't a physio. He isn't a doctor. He can't assess them. He's not like... It's not like he's gone over to them, right, okay, I've just seen the scans. I know the injury happened 5 seconds ago, but, we've just looked it over, and, we think he's going to be out for 6 to 8 months. He's like, well, he seems all right, but we'll find out more tomorrow.
He can't be that bad. He walked off the pitch.
Exactly, yeah.
Look at Radu Dragusin. He walked off the pitch. He must be fine.
By the way, I want to point out that how fucking nails is Dragusin, by the way. He did walk off with that And like that is a lying down screaming.
Like people get
stretcher.
stretchered off on oxygen.
Yeah, on oxygen for that injury, and he literally walked off the pitch like, it's okay, I'll walk it off, boss. No, we think you need to come. no, don't try and run it off.
Please don't try and run it off, please.
We're fairly confident you've just lost a limb, so maybe sit down for a minute, put some ice on it. Yeah, you'll be fine. Fucking nails. A lot of people Polynesian Dan, for example, can't stand him. I quite like Dragusin. I don't know, maybe just he has that psychotic look, which I like in defenders. I think all defenders should be psychos.
All defenders need that look of, I will
kill you. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So when it comes to this season, I do think there was a really interesting point around the fact the players have backdanged the whole season. Levy hasn't fired him, which I think could be down to the player backing, but also could be fully aware of perhaps some changes behind the scenes have fucked up. Like, that wasn't on him, that's on somebody else. How would you feel, right, if, let's say, this is the scenario, we've won the Europa League, we've just beaten Brighton and done the big parade and everything's all good. After the game, maybe like a couple of days, like the season's over, Daniel Levy puts out a statement where he announces he's fired, I'm not going to name names, but he's fired 5 people from behind the scenes. And in the statement, without going into details, he said the changes implemented during the last season, whatever, just didn't work. They created, and we are going to fix that. We're doing this. We have been aware of the situation Andrew's had to work under, etc. With all the changes, we believe this team can progress under his leadership, and we're going to back him this summer. How would you feel? Because I have to completely honest, I'd feel really mixed about it. Not because I don't like him, not because I don't like the style of football he wants to play, and not because if a statement came out like that, I'd actually feel, okay, I kind of feel a little bit vindicated that it isn't all on him. But on the flip side, 17th isn't good, and I've watched a lot of naive shit this season from a team of kids where really they should have been told, clear the fucking ball, don't try and pass it around your box. There's a lot of... I got a lot of admiration for trying to play a certain way of football. I get that. And when our first 11's on the pitch, it can be beautiful. It can be absolutely glorious. But when you've basically got a second 11 and you are just fighting for survival, there should have been a rethink. For me, anyway. And what makes it worse is then you see us in the Europa League play that way naturally anyway. And you look at it and you think, so you could have done that. Like, that wasn't beyond you. That wasn't something that this team couldn't do. You were obviously just like, no, we'll be fine. We'll keep playing our way, mate. So anyway, I would be conflicted. How would you feel?
I'm kind of on the same boat as you are, because I like Ange. I genuinely like him.
Yeah.
I like what he wants to do. This season has not worked. Nope. Quite clearly. And like you say, you watch the Europa League games and you watch the style of play, especially probably the last 4 of maybe 5 games. So the 2 legs of each one and the one before that. And you watch it and you go, that's not the way we're playing in the Premier League.
No.
That's not the same style. So there is another style there that is able to be unlocked and to be played.
Yep.
Why are we not? Like, why are we losing to Nottingham Forest playing this way and then beating Frankfurt playing another way? And that isn't where probably my major frustration lays on this season with things like that. Like the fact that there is another way of playing. He's shown that we can do it. Why aren't we?
Yeah.
However, if the statement came out and hands go up and they go, yeah, this hasn't worked this season. We all can see it hasn't worked this season. However, this is what we are planning to do. We are going to back Ange in the summer. We are going to buy him the 4 or 5 players that he needs for those rotation options. You know, we're going to get another left back so that we can rotate that position. We're going to get a proper number 6 cruncher to play in that position and to help train some of the younger players up. We're going to get another forward to rotate with Solanke properly, and we're going to get these players in, and we are going to play the way that we want to play, but we're going to have a bigger squad to be able to rotate and not have the same. You think you go, could it work?
Yeah, the funny thing is as I said what I said, it felt realistic. As you just said, yeah, we'll sign all these players. I'm like, yeah, so it won't happen. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah. I mean, the reality is, and I know the reality, Ange's going to get sacked because it's the easiest option for them. You can back him and sign more players, or you sack him and hope a different coach can get better out of the existing players. It was what they did with Pochettino. Pochettino told them, we need to revamp this squad, a painful rebuild, because it's stale. It's not working. We got to that Champions League final, but our league form had really kind of tailed off. Not atrocious, not like now, but compared to where it was. And you could kind of put that down to our focus shifted to the Champions League, and that's fine. We still finished 4th, I think. It's like, oh no, how terrible for us. But,
I remember those days.
Yeah, that was an atrocious season. We should have been winning 10 trophies. But my point is, they looked at that and went, oh, he clearly can't win a trophy, so we're going to bring in Jose to work with this squad, which we know is really good because we just got to a Champions League final. Completely ignoring the guy who'd worked with these players every day for 5 years, telling them, this ain't working anymore, we need to make some big changes.
Yep.
And they're like, no, we don't. Just bring in Jose. Jose will win us stuff. Oh shit, Jose nearly won us stuff. Fire him quick. Anyway, that's a whole other saga. So, we now have an interesting situation where we have the chance to win a trophy. Now, for years and years and years and years, going back to Pochettino, definitely, it has been the thing. We need to win a trophy. Every pundit, every fan of every other club, yada, need a trophy, need a trophy, need a trophy. Ironically, we are now in a situation where the trophy is kind of, in my opinion, secondary to winning this game. And the reason why I'm saying that is we need to win this game. I hope Daniel Levy's listening, because he'll love this, for the money more than the trophy.
I'm glad you've brought this up, because I was actually going to ask you, because obviously you've spoken about this a bit in our group chat and stuff.
Yeah.
And I really wanted you to kind of come out and actually talk about it.
So in the Premier League, depending on where you finish, you earn X amount prize money. And so when you finish 17th, you actually earn the lowest in the league because the 3 relegated teams get a parachute payment. So 17th place means you earn the lowest prize money. When the club budgets going forward, the club has budgeted for a top 8 finish for the last 10 to 15 years. And they'd have had no reason at all not to do that again this time. The difference is significant. And when you have got, let's give you an example of transfer fees. When you buy a football player and the price, let's say, is 40 million, you don't hand that over in one go. You typically put down, say, 10, and then you do installments over the upcoming windows for the duration of the contract for the player. That means Tottenham, like all clubs, have X amount of money that they know they have to pay out per, so this summer they'll know before they even look at a new player, they have X amount of money they have to spend to pay for the players we've already got. When we budgeted for that, when we were looking ahead and doing everything, we'd have known we'd have had prize money from being in the top 8 of the Premier League, and television money, etc., etc. Now, the Europa League has increased its prize money slightly, but winning the Europa League on its own will literally only balance what we have lost from the Premier League. So we're not going to gain anything by winning the Europa League financially. But winning the Europa League does get us Champions League, which is from memory, and apologies if I've got this wrong, but from memory, just by qualifying for the Champions League, that's a guaranteed 30 million. That is everything to us right now.
That's a decent chunk of money.
So what I want to kind of try and get across here is the club is not, gotta stress this enough, is not in a bad financial position, in the sense of we are not about to be running into fair play rules or anything like that, but we are asset rich and kind of cash poor. In an ideal world, our owners, don't laugh, everyone's laughing at this, I can sense it, our owners would put their hands in their pocket at this point. Because if they did that and they injected money into the club to allow us to buy players to do things this summer, it would dig us out of the hole we're in, enabling us to go forward, and the club would probably be able to pay them back over the next 2-3 years easily.
Yep.
The problem I fear we have is if we lose the game on Wednesday, we have finished 17th in the league, and you have a squad of players who are about to see the manager they really like sacked, and are probably already speaking to their agents about, I want to play European football. I don't want to be here.
There's a good few players in that squad that are good enough as well to go to very top European clubs.
Well, I can tell you that there are 3 that are heavily rumoured to be wanting to leave. The 3 are QT Romero, which I think everybody knows.
Yep.
Dejan Kulusevski.
It's a bit of a shocker.
Really?
I think he's very much linked with Ange, like you said. Actually, yeah. So that could be, if Ange's going, he'll be going. But he does seem to give his all for the club, and I think he genuinely...
Oh, no, he does. And I think this injury he's just picked up could screw him out of a move this summer, but, you know.
No.
Aha. Oh, no. And the other one's Mickey van der Ven. You can add in Destiny Udogie as well. You can add in a couple of others who have been linked to other clubs. Now, the problem you've got, or the big problem you've got, is without the money from winning the Europa League, we literally cannot sign a new player without selling. Which means every club will know we need to sell. Now, Atletico Madrid are interested in QT Romero. We value him at something like 60 odd million. No team in Europe can afford that.
No,
they just can't. They would have to do some sort of crazy ass deal to do it. Atletico Madrid basically are around the 30 million mark for QT. We probably could get 60 million for him, but we'd be selling him to another Premier League team.
Yep.
QT himself has kind of said he wants to go to Spain because he's played in Italy, he's now played in England. He then wants to go to Spain. I get that, that's fine. He also has barely learnt the language. I like him, but he's just a nightmare.
Yep.
I can see him going to Spain. I can see him going there. Now, Real Madrid have just spent 50 million on a defender from Bournemouth.
Which probably made him cry.
It's a crazy statement. Barcelona, as we all know, got no money. Atletico Madrid really want him, but can they finance it? Who knows? Maybe they'll send us Conor Gallagher as part of the deal. God knows. But anyway, there's a lot there, right? There's a lot going on. Manchester City really want Destiny Udogie. Like, really, really interested. Have contacted the club and basically made an initial inquiry. We've said sod off, but in the summer, Destiny Udogie looking at it, I can stay here or I can go there, earn more money, do the Kyle Walker thing.
They're about to have a massive rebuild, so all of a sudden you're one of those. He basically becomes the Kyle Walker of the young fullback joining the rebuild.
Yeah, Liverpool are very interested in Van der Ven. Very interested. And you've got a whole host of European clubs are interested in Kulusevski. So we genuinely run the risk of our first 11, our squad, being picked apart. and us being in a position where we can't refuse it. We have to sell. We can't. We will be fucked, basically. We will be in a position where, okay, we've got a new coach coming in. He wants to make these changes. We are going to have to sell some of these players. The issue you have then is around, okay, let's say Romero wants to leave. Atletico Madrid, we can do a deal there. You well imagine that Van de Ven will then be knocking on the door saying, well, I want out as well.
Yep.
You can well imagine other players are going to be looking at that going, okay, so with the greatest respect, is Danzo, they're not on the same fucking level.
I am a big fan of Danzo and what I have seen since he came in, but he's not Van de Ven. He's not Romero.
No, neither.
Can you imagine this season? Our back four is, if everyone's fit, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Destiny Udogie.
Yeah.
And then next season, our back four is Archie Gray, Danso, Dragusin, and Jed Spence.
It's worth pointing out as well that Pedro Porro is, of course, wanted by Real Madrid. That's a genuine thing. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that could be our back four. Could be Gray, Danso, Dragusin, and Spence.
Yeah. With Ben Davis.
Ben Davis as the rotation option. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you're looking at that and you're going, that's not an upgrade. No disrespect to any of those players.
No, this is where the problem is. The problem is we as a fan base and as a club need to improve. But we are going to be screwed to improve without winning on Wednesday. This is what I'm talking about. The fact that, ironically, because of how badly we've been in the league, the trophy is actually secondary here. Which is mad. Like, it's the thing we've needed for years and years and years, but now we've done so badly, actually it's not even the main priority.
The money is actually the thing of...
It's actually a bigger thing, because now let's flip it, okay? We win on Wednesday. Not only does that solve the financial, potential pitfall cash flow issue, it also means we've got Champions League football next season. You've got a squad of players then there who you can sit down with and go, look, this season's been bad, but we all know behind the scenes, Mickey Van de Ven suddenly, with the length of time on his contract, even if he throws a strop, you can just go sit down, shut up. Udog is the same. Romero, I think, still got 3 years left on his deal, so he probably is the one that can push a little bit harder, and if the money's right, you could sell. But even you could go, Cutie, mate, no, they're not willing to pay the money for you. Tell them to get the 60 million or tell them to jog on.
Yeah.
But you see my point. You can keep this squad together then. You can make the changes you want to make. You can make the sales you actually feel comfortable selling. You don't have to be forced into anything.
And you've also then got that thing of, once you do make some sales, when you're buying a player in, we've got Champions League football this season.
You can also look at the players that are available on a free this summer. There are 5 that would improve our squad straight away that I can think of. If Paratici was brought back, that's the shit he's good at. That guy is the free transfer.
Purely because I've not looked that far into the transfers yet. Who are the 5?
Oh, Christ. Let's see, why put me on the spot?
Only because you said I could name 5 players. I was like, oh, actually, I don't know who is out of contract this season. Normally, I'm pretty good with this.
Yeah, but then I got to look it up.
I'm sorry.
You've put me on the spot.
Please hold.
What's his name? Gomez. Angel Gomez. He's out of contract
Yes, I definitely want him. Yep.
Jonathan Davis.
Jonathan Davis, the striker from... Yep.
There's a defender who I can't really remember his name.
Is it Ta?
Yeah. Jonathan Ta, yeah. Or there's 3. I ain't doing any more.
No, fair play.
3.
Fair play.
3. It was 3.
But yeah, all 3 of those come in and make improvements, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a fullback and I can't think of his bloody name. It'll come back to me. But anyway, my point is around that is Paratici's bread and butter. That is the guy, free transfers. insane loan, buy now, pay later kind of negotiations. Crime. The guy is full of crime, and he's great. He's our criminal. Every rumour I hear is that he is coming back, but I don't know in what capacity, because we've appointed this guy as our new kind of like footballing CEO, which would suggest to me that Scott Munn's the one that's going to carry the can for this season and get fired. And then you've got Lang, who, by the way, loads of people really like. I think he's shit. I think the work he did was crap this season.
The fact that he wasn't really able to sign anyone, and Daniel Levy wasn't able to sign him, but Ange was, tells me that that guy's not very good at his job.
Like, talent identification and doing deals are two different things, right?
Yep.
Lucas Burval, Gray, the young players, I can fully say, yeah, okay, Kinski, well done. We've identified them, we've moved for them, we've signed them. They are decent players, 100%, with fantastic upsides to them.
Yep.
But at the same time, the summer before, Lang wasn't there. Ange Postecoglou was working directly with our chief scout at the time, and they signed Van de Ven, Madison, Vicario, players who were able to come in and play now. That's what we freaking needed.
Yes.
Like, the only player we signed in the summer who could play now was Solanke, which is great. And he's like, when we signed him, I was like, he completely won me over. He's been brilliant, but just what the fuck? Like, you're playing last season. We weren't in Europe, and we had a squad bigger than the squad we started this season with to play in 4 competitions. Last season we weren't in Europe and the average age of the squad was like 28. This season we are in Europe and the average age of the squad's like 23.
Yes.
I think that's great, but use your freaking brains. Like, it doesn't. This guy is the director of football and he is in charge of that. The squad thing, that is his job. And he looked at that and went, yeah, you can do well in 4 competitions with a bunch of kids. No. It was garbage, so I don't rate him. So if he got fired, I'd be delighted. Yeah. I don't think he will, but hopefully he'll get promoted sideways to like a broom cupboard or something. Just watch your videos, identify the good players, and I'll go and sign them. And
you're now just working with the scouting department. Just tell them who to look at.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, so. My whole thing on this is the Wednesday's game suddenly is the trophy's secondary, which is insane, and I don't like saying that, but it really is. The financial impact of winning, the financial impact of losing, cannot be understated, and it actually is for the same for both clubs. If anything, Manchester United actually is worse for them. If United fail to win, then they are actually in a far worse position than we are. However, the big difference with them is they actually have an owner who seems to be willing to bail them out. Our owner, we know, would just sit there and go, well, you're screwed then.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah.
Well, what worries me is this season can be a blip. This season can be a one-off mad season with loads of problems that next season we improve from. But that won't happen if we don't win on Wednesday, because the best players on our side are going to get picked off, and the players we can sign to replace them with no European football and 17th last season won't improve us. And even the best coach in the world, like Pep Guardiola, could leave Manchester City, due to them being relegated for all their financial fraud, and he could join us because he likes the stadium, thought Daniel Levy's a laugh, bold bros and all that. And he would struggle with the squad we've got, with the best players missing.
Yeah.
And we all know that. We all saw him take over at Manchester City and struggle in his first season. So it's the same. You could be the best coach in the world, world renowned, won everything, done everything.
We've seen that.
I'm now starting to think we could get Pep. Anyway,
I mean, to be fair, he would like to win a game at the stadium.
Yeah, he has now. He has. Yeah, that's yeah. Anyway, mate, that's everything. Like I said, I want to kind of finish on a more positive thing. For all of the Spursy, all of the kind of painful memories and experience I've got, I'm going to try and look at this from a purely logical, forgetting the past and just focusing on the now.
Yep.
I think we are a better team than Manchester United currently.
Yes.
I look at the players between the two sides, and I think Bruno Fernandes aside, we have a stronger set of players. I look at this, that we've beaten them 3 times already this season. I look at the fact that we have been a different animal in the Europa League than we have in the league.
Yep.
I truly believe that it has to happen. Ange has won a trophy in his 2nd season, every club he's ever managed. We are long overdue just a shred of friggin' luck. You know, we are just so long overdue that I really believe that we have got a fantastic chance of winning this on Wednesday. And the whole season, the whole everything, all the crap will suddenly kind of fade into the background and give us something to enjoy. As a fan base, we're long overdue. As a group of players, I think they're focused. I think the fact they're so focused on this has killed the league for them, but we'll all forgive them if they win it. I truly believe Wednesday night will be a fantastic night in our club's history, and I really hope when our second show this week drops on Friday, I'm not eating those words.
Oh, you and me both.
Yeah. Yeah, final thoughts from you before we go?
I do, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I do genuinely have this weird kind of calmness over it, and I think we can really do something. To quote Ange, I think we can really do something quite special.
Okay, well, that's a perfect way to finish. Thank you to everybody for listening. I want to say a quick thank you to everyone who's messaged me as well in the last week or so. I am okay, and we are planning to be back on Friday with our reaction to that Europa League final. We're going to be recording, I think, Thursday evening.
Yes, I believe so.
I think that's the plan, yeah. So that gives us a chance to, get our heads back on straight regardless of the result. Like I said, thank you to everybody for listening. We'll be back on Friday, and please, 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 Tottenham, please win. And your final words, sir?
Come on, boy. Yeah, I genuinely believe we can do it. So, come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.